Vandeham Shri Guru.
Nitai Gauratanda.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to Hare Krishna today. We would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us, so kindly joining us, giving us your attention and time, and giving us the opportunity to serve you in this way. We pray that we can continue serving you like this, sharing Krishna Katha or topics discussing the all-good personality of Godhead. Today, we're discussing a very wonderful subject that is very dear to all the Vaishnavas and everyone in general. Tomorrow, as we know, is the holy day of Shivratri, Mahashivratri, or the great night of Lord Shiva. And as such, it would be a great opportunity missed if we did not use this time to glorify Lord Shiva, who is such a wonderful personality in our Vedic culture. He exemplifies so many things and wonderful qualities which we will be discussing today. Those qualities are compassion, humility, detachment from material things, and the feeling of no self-prestige or having no false ego. So under these qualities, we'll just discuss several pastimes, beautiful short pastimes of Lord Shiva that illustrate these qualities, that bring out these qualities. These qualities are basically like universal qualities. We don't need to expound on why these qualities are important. Each one of these qualities should be had by each one of us. So how can we exemplify or follow in those, imbibe those qualities? Lord Shiva shows us this by his wonderful deeds. As we know, Supreme Personalities like Lord Shiva, Vishnu, they all show us how to live by coming to show us themselves, teaching by example, and that is the best way. So as we said, the first quality, compassion. We all know this popular pastime of the Samudra Manthan, or the churning of the milk ocean, that occurred. It's a pastime that occurred between the Devatas and the Danavas, the demons, so to speak. So, as we know, the Devatas, they were thrown out of their kingdom and they wanted some means of getting back there. And because they were constantly being defeated, the suggestion was made that they should drink the elixir of immortality. So where should they get this elixir? It happened to be in the bottom of the milk ocean, which they needed to churn to get it out from there. So a beautiful pastime happened. They got the Mandara mountain to volunteer. Of course, we know in Vedic times, each and every object is seen as having a personal form. Rivers are seen as having a personal form. Like for instance, Ganges, we know Ganga Devi. Yamuna, we have Yamuna Mai. So even mountains had personalities. And one such personality was Mandara mountain. So they asked the Mandara mountain, and he volunteered to be the churning rod, so to speak. They asked Vasuki, who is the king of snakes, to volunteer as the rope, because what kind of rope would you get to pull to tie around the mountain to churn an ocean? So they needed the strongest rope. So someone came up with the idea of asking Vasuki. So Vasuki, he volunteered also. And it was decided that the demons, the Danavas, would be on one side, and the Devatas would be on another side. So like that, they began churning the ocean of milk. Through this churning, many things came out. We know the Kalpavriksha tree that was taken by Lord Indra. Mother Lakshmi also came out of this ocean. But one thing that came out, of course, in the end, the nectar did come out, the elixir of immortality. The nectar did come out, but before that nectar came out, poison came out. And this poison is described, it's called halahal. This poison was described, it was so powerful that just by the smell of this poison, it could kill the entire universe, and everyone was so perturbed. The entire universe was in total commotion. So they approached Lord Vishnu, what do we do? Pahima, Pahima. So they asked Lord Vishnu, what should we do? Please save us. So Lord Vishnu says, go to Lord Shiva. He only can save us from this calamity. So they go to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva accepts the service willingly, without a second thought. He goes there to the ocean, and he takes all of the poison into his hands, concentrates it there into his hands. You can imagine how huge his hands are, right? His lotus hands, and he drinks that poison. It is said that he keeps that poison at his throat, and that is the reason why he's called Nilakanta, or blue-throated one. Another reason is because we know Lord Shiva loves, which is another quality we'll discuss later on, but he loves to chant the name of Lord Ramachandra, and he very much loves Krishna. Krishna also loves him very much. So because he's so very much attached to the name of Krishna, Ramachandra, and Krishna is bluish, his throat is also bluish, to reflect the object of his utmost love, because he loves Krishna so much. So that's just a wonderful side note. But this pastime beautifully depicts his compassion to all living beings on this earthly planet, not just this earthly planet, entire universe, as a matter of fact. He was willing to swallow poison. That was the extent he was willing to go. That is the extent he expressed his compassion. So he is immensely compassionate. And we know that he's easily pleased. Anyone who prays to him fervently and sincerely, without any material desires within their heart, can easily achieve those desires, because he's easily pleased. He's called Ashutosh. So like that, Lord Shiva expresses this quality of compassion. So that's the first quality. The second quality is the quality of humility. We know that Lord Shiva, before Parvati came into the picture, Parvati Devi, her previous form as Sati, she was the daughter of Daksha, who was a Prajapati or progenitor. Daksha somehow did not like Lord Shiva, and when Sati was asking him to marry for her to marry Lord Shiva, he was just so much critical of Lord Shiva. He started criticizing Lord Shiva that he lives under a tree, he wears deer skin, he has ashes smeared all over his body. So many things. Of course, we know that these things are not material, should not be looked on a material plane. Lord Shiva's activities are totally transcendental because he's such a wonderful personality. But Daksha kept criticizing Lord Shiva. And we eventually know what happened to Daksha. That's a different pastime altogether. So, one of Daksha's criticism was that Lord Shiva doesn't have a home. So Sati, she tells Lord Shiva this, and Lord Shiva, he decides to create an entire city, and that is how the city of Kashi came about. And he installed a king there called Kashiraj. Kashiraj had a friend named Paundraka. Paundraka happened. He was trying to imitate Lord Vishnu or Krishna as he appeared at that time. He had his own Sudarshan Chakra, his Kaumudiki Gada, and everything, and he was saying that I am the real Krishna and that one is the fake one. So when he sends a letter to Krishna saying that you are the fake one, give up your Sudarshan Chakra and surrender unto me, I am the real Krishna. Krishna just laughed. I mean, what else could you do to respond to someone like that? So it happened that they ended up on the battlefield, and the Kashiraj, Paundraka's friend, also ended up there with his army, and they got defeated. Krishna delivers Paundraka from his nonsense, and the son of Kashiraj becomes very much enraged by this. So he prays to Lord Shiva fervently to help him in this battle. So he goes to fight Lord Krishna with Lord Shiva's army also there. And when Lord Shiva appears in front of Krishna on the battlefield, Lord Shiva asks him, why are you doing this to me? Because they were fighting, and of course you know what happened during fights. They were fighting against one another, and Lord Shiva is asking, why are you doing this to me? Krishna turns and asks him, why are you doing this to me? We are both friends, and they both love each other so much. Why should they be on opposing sides on a battlefield? So Lord Shiva says, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done this. And Lord Krishna, what would he say? it's okay. So Lord Shiva asks for a specific service so that he can make up for this. So you know when you hurt your loved one, so to speak, you have to there's some way you have to make up for it. So he asks, how can I make up for this, for hurting you like this? Because I love you very much, you also love me, so how can I make up for this? So Krishna says, you know what? Many people enter our holy places without any qualifications. So I want you to become the doorkeeper at those holy places. Now you might think, Lord Shiva is such a great personality. Why should he become a doorkeeper? It's such a humble position. But that's his humility. Out of love, he shows us that he can accept anything. Many of us, we are attached to a specific type of service. But Lord Shiva shows us we shouldn't be attached to a specific type of service. We should be attached to service. And that attachment to service requires the feeling of humility. And we know humility is sort of like the fountainhead of all other good qualities. From humility flows a range, all of these other good qualities, compassion, and every single thing, kindness, every single thing stems from humility. If we don't have humility, then we're nothing. We have nothing if we don't have humility. So Lord Shiva is showing us this. And Lord Shiva is present in all of these holy dhams. In Vrindavan, he is present as Gopeshwar Mahadev, and the Vrajvasis, everyone. When we go there, you go to Lord Shiva and beg him to give us entrance into the holy dham, not just physically, but mentally also. So as in Vrindavan, he is present as Gopeshwar Mahadev. In Nandagram, he is present as Gokula Nandeshwar Mahadev. He's present as so many places, and so many beautiful names describing the wonderful pastimes behind his appearance. So he's also present in Jagannath Puri, Sri Purushottama Kshetra. He's present there. Before we go to Jagannath Puri, we must go through Bhuvaneshwar. And he's present there as Bhuvaneshwar Mahadev. So before we enter any of the holy places relating to Lord Krishna, we need to ask the permission of Lord Shiva. Why? Because Lord Shiva is Krishna's very dear friend. They both love each other so much. So we've discussed compassion and humility. There is another pastime of the Prachetas, who there's a beautiful description, and their entire lineage is described in the Bhagavad Purana. The fourth canto or fourth section of the Bhagavad Purana is described, the pastime of the Prachetas. They were several brothers who went under the order of their father, who was a Vedic king, of course. We know Vedic kings, they were very rich and all of these things. So for their sons to become worthy of managing the kingdom and handling such wealth, they have to make themselves worthy, first of all. So they were sent to the forest to perform austerity. So the Prachetas, they went to the forest performing austerity, but they went a step further. They went underwater, on the riverbed, performing austerities there. Lord Shiva comes there, being pleased with them. They were worshipping Lord Vishnu. He comes there pleased with them, and the first thing he tells them, very interesting, I am pleased with your austerity of mutual cooperation. Mutual cooperation, the austerity of mutual cooperation. Many times, to cooperate with others, it's a very hard task. Sometimes it might be grueling to cooperate, associate with persons, but this austerity of cooperation is very much needed. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, one of his last instructions to us was that your love for me will be expressed through your cooperation to push on this movement. So that's a very deep statement. Shiva also says, moving on, he tells Parvati Devi that this chanting of the holy names of Lord Ramachandra is very special. That this very name Rama is also very special. Why? Because just by uttering Ra, all of the sinful reactions flow out of our mouth. By saying Ma, we are holding back our mouth from not allowing them to enter back into our mouth. So by saying Ra, we open our mouth, our sinful reactions go out, and we close our mouth, not allowing them to enter back again. So, and the verse he tells Parvati Devi is Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasra Nama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. This verse comes at the end of the Vishnu Sahasranama, in which he says that this entire Vishnu Sahasranama, reciting 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, the benefit of that can be had by just 3 times uttering the name of Lord Ramachandra. And we can see Lord Hanuman as the incarnation of the 11th Rudra. He came and he was so much attached to chanting the name of Lord Ramachandra, so that he's considered Lord Ramachandra's very dear servant because of his attachment to chanting. You can see every time you see Hanumanji, there are so many popular pictures of him chanting the names of Lord Ramachandra. So like this, Lord Shiva is teaching us how we should utter the names of Lord Ramachandra, chanting and remembering what is the factor behind this chanting. Why do we chant? It is for that chanting to make an impression on our subconscious mind so that we can eventually always remember the Supreme Lord. Another quality that Lord Shiva depicts to us or exemplifies for us is seeing the good in others. Many times we are so narrow-minded that we see faults in others and we focus on those faults. We see the fault, we amplify that fault, and not only amplify it, we also propagate it. That's not a very nice quality that we have, sadly. For example, one of our Vaishnava acharyas, His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, says that when the frailty of others delude us, look within, for those faults are within us. So it said that if a thief sees someone else, a thief sees others as thief. Why? Because he's also a thief. He has that quality. So if we're afflicted by lust, greed, anger, we naturally see those qualities in others. So there's a very beautiful pastime of a thief. He was very specialized in stealing temple bells, specifically temple bells. He wanted, that was his prime job, so to speak. So he came one time to the temple of Lord Shiva, beautiful Shiva Lingam in the inner sanctum of the temple. And just above the Shiva Lingam was a golden bell. He was watching the bell. I need to get this bell. So in the night, he comes when no one was there. He comes to the temple and there was no ladder around for him to reach the bell. So he was like, no one is around, no one would see anyways. And Lord Shiva, he's just a lingam. So he climbs on the lingam. He climbs on the lingam to get the bell and Lord Shiva appears there immediately. So the thief was like, no, I'm not doing anything. No, I'm not doing anything. I'm not stealing anything. Lord Shiva said, no, it's fine. It's fine. So Lord Shiva asks him, what are you doing? So he says, no, I'm just here cleaning. So there was dust on the bell, so I was cleaning that dust. So he turned and he asked Lord Shiva, I have a question though. You're so difficult to see sometimes. Sometimes we have to perform so much austerities, go through so much penance to see you. But I simply climbed on the lingam and you appeared just like that, out of nowhere, without me expressing or exerting myself in any austerities. Why is this so? So Lord Shiva says that usually people come to me, they offer leaves, they offer water, they offer milk, they offer gold, they offer so many things. They offer prayers, they offer incense, they offer flowers, they offer fans, they worship me in so many variety of ways. They worship me, they offer me so many things, they offer me food, so many things. But hardly anyone ever offers themselves. And by you climbing on your lingam, on the lingam, you have offered yourself to me. So this thief, he just couldn't believe the vision of Lord Shiva. How could Lord Shiva see such good? It's not that Lord Shiva was stupid, that he didn't see what the thief, that he didn't know what this guy was going to do. Lord Shiva knew exactly what he was going to do. He knows past, present, and future. He knows everything. So, would he not know that this man is coming to thief something? But look at his vision. Seeing the good, amplifying the good, even when the good is not apparent, not present there. So it is said that Lord Shiva, he sees a white dot on a black cloth. But we are so conditioned, we see the black dot on a flawlessly white cloth. So we need to learn to train our eyes. We need, by following Lord Shiva's example, train our eyes to see the good, not to see the bad and amplify the bad. We all have bad qualities. We are conditioned souls within this material world. That is the nature of this material world. We are all full of faults. This material world is full of faults. But we are spiritual beings, spirit souls. originally not of that nature. We need to rediscover that nature through the process of devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And through that devotional service, we develop so many qualities, and those qualities are being depicted here. One very beautiful verse, we're coming down to the end, one beautiful verse that describes Lord Shiva is describing his greatness. So this verse comes, Swayam Mahesha, Swashro Nagesha, Saka Dhanesha, Tanayo Ganesha, Tatapi Bhiksha Daname Vashambho, Baliyasi Ke Balame Ishwarecha. So what does this verse mean? Swayam Mahesha, he's Mahesha, the Lord of Kailash mountain. He resides on such a wonderful mountain. He's a very powerful personality, possesses so many opulences. Swashro Nagesha, his father-in-law is the king of mountains. Nagesha meaning the Lord of serpents. The snakes usually take shelter in Sanskrit grammar. It's beautiful of Sanskrit poetry. Nagesha mean referring to the mountain, in that the snakes take shelter in mountains. So his father-in-law is the king of mountains, Himachal. Saka Dhanesha. So his friend, his very dear friend, is Kuvera, the treasurer of the Devatas. Tanayo Ganesha. His son, Ganesh, is the remover of obstacles. He is like the leader of all the Devatas, so to speak. Such a wonderful personality, related to so many people, has so much connections. Yet, Tatapi Bhiksha Daname Vashambho. He resides on the Kailash mountain under a tree. Such a humble setting, like a total renunciant. That is the level of Lord Shiva's detachment and renunciation. Not being attached to material things. We are all after, every one of us are after fame, good connections, like good birth, Shri, Yasha, all of these things. They light up our eyes, but those are not the things that actually matter. That is what Lord Shiva is showing us here. So it is a beautiful pastime where Parvati Devi approaches Lord Shiva and says, we don't have home. Can't we have a home? So many persons have their homes. Lord Shiva says, no problem. And just by thinking of it, he manifests a beautiful golden palace. And to inaugurate the housewarming ceremony of that palace, he invites many sages there. And after the ceremony was finished, the sages came and he was giving them dakshina as a dutiful householder. The last brahmana that came up to him says, he's looking around, it's a beautiful palace. When did you build it? Lord Shiva says, recently. So he says, I would like this place. Lord Shiva says, no problem, this is yours already. And he gives that brahmana the place that he was supposed to be living in. He gives brahmana the place and he goes back living under his tree. That is Lord Shiva. That is his innocence, his charitable nature, so to speak, and his utmost humility. That is what we mean when we call him Mahadev. Mahadev means that he's showing us by example how to live. He's Mahadeva, such a great godly personality. So the qualities that we've discussed so far is that he has no attachment to material things, but rather values spiritual values over material valuables. Spiritual values over material valuables. He expresses deep compassion. He's full of humility, and he sees such good in others, suppressing the false ego within. Now, there's another story of the benefit of the Shivaratri night, this great night of Lord Shiva. It is said that once there was a hunter, and you know what hunters do, they hunt animals. So he was there hunting, and one day, all he got was a deer. It was a very bad day for his profession. And all he got was a deer to support his entire family. He was there stuck in a tree waiting for something. It happened so that rain started falling. He was there stuck all night. He didn't get to eat, drink, nothing. So just to pass time, as he was there, he was picking the leaves from the tree and just throwing them down on the ground. And it happened so that he was also crying. His tears were falling on the ground. And would you believe that there was a Shiva Lingam happened to be underneath that tree? And the leaves that you were offering happened to be bay leaves, just like tulsi leaves are dear to Lord Vishnu, bay leaves are dear to Lord Shiva. We know this. So he was offering, as if he was offering bay leaves to Lord Shiva, and his tears were as if he was bathing the linga accidentally. So the night passed, he continued his profession, eventually he passed away, and when he passed away, the followers of Lord Shiva came, "Congratulations! Welcome to Kailash." What? What have I done? The hunter is saying, what have I done to deserve this? I never worshipped Lord Shiva. Yes, you worship Lord Shiva. You remember when you were on that tree, accidentally you did so and so and so? It's like, wow. So you've qualified yourself to live in Shiva Loka, in Kailasha, for so many years. So he goes there for so many celestial years. He enjoys the company of Lord Shiva. Then he comes back here and takes birth as a king called Chitrabhanu. And this story is actually being told by Chitrabhanu to a Muni called Ashtavakra. So like this, he is expressing to Ashtavakra Muni the beauty of fasting on the night of Shivratri. The night that he was stuck on the tree happened to be Shivratri. So he indirectly, accidentally fasted and gained so much pious credits. So imagine if you intentionally perform this fast and observe this beautiful day. So in conclusion, there is a beautiful prayer that we Vaishnavas present at the feet of Lord Shiva to glorify him and ask a specific beautiful benediction. It is not nice to approach any of the devatas, or even Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, who are not devatas, by the way. They are by no means devatas. Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, they are such great personalities. It is not nice to approach them for like low material desires. I want wealth, I want this. Material things, these things do not last. We should want spiritual values. So, the prayer goes as follows. Vrindavana vanipate jaya soma soma maule sanaka sanandana sanatana naradetya gopeshwara vraja vilasi yugangri padme prema prayacha nirupadi namo namaste. So what are we praying? We are praying to Gopeshwar Mahadev, the gatekeeper of Vrindavan. Oh Soma, all glories unto you. Have the beautiful crescent moon on your hair, your beautiful hair, your beautiful face. It's decorated by that moon. You make the moon beautiful by your face, the effulgence of your face. You're worshipable by sage, the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanandana, and even Narada Muni. You're so worshipable by all these sages. Oh Gopeshwara, my desire is that you bestow upon me pure love for the lotus feet of Radha Krishna, who perform wonderful pastimes, Vraja Vilasi, in the beautiful forests of Vrindavan. My obeisances to you again and again, humbly begging for permission to enter into the beautiful pastime place of Shri Shri Radha Krishna. So on this beautiful night of Shivratri, which is tomorrow, we can offer these wonderful prayers, similar prayers to these, begging for spiritual values, spiritual valuables, not material valuables, to Lord Shiva, and like that he will be extremely pleased. Lord Shiva, he doesn't have any material possessions, so when we ask for such things, it's like a botheration, so to speak. Why should he give such things? We should pray to him for spiritual salvation, spiritual elevation, and pray to him to guide us in our journey back to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So with that, Shri Mahadeva ki Jai. Thank you, Lord. Hare Krishna.